by the drinking, isn't it, Ted?
Well, you're not going back up the charge on back out, sir?
Setting the time at 7.7. And the team, well, the Team Komatsu is just
Put Adrian's in it.
leg power to get
Put
it off
Adrian's in it.
the starting line.
Yeah. Oh, Denver. Yeah, it's still a glide. Hey?
I already know what that is.
Come on, pull Adrian's out, mate. It's already on the
What are
trail.
you thinking about now? We'll get the bits to fix this. His workshop's just down the road up there in Holbeck Road. It's only about 2 miles down the track. Of course, Eastern Creek Performance, that is. And whatever they need, he'll have that in stock. Actually broke the separator just behind the roll cage with around about 5,000 pounds of rear wing. Well, that's rear wing just tried to leave the car.
To the Autolite Nationals in Sonoma, California, that's the John Force juggernaut heading down to the racetrack, daring anybody to stand in their way. Well, it's close. We'll take a look at Jim Epler back again with Jerry Tolliver this time. Tolliver's in the near lane, Epler on the far side. Epler coming off that nasty fire and then has a nasty explosion. This one might even be a little more attention-getting than what he had the week before in Seattle. Brings it sideways, demolishes another body on the race car, but again, would come back and race again. If there is such a thing as good news, when the back of the body came off, at least the fire around the driver was let go. So Epler could see, was not sitting in a fireball, and was able to just lock the brakes up. Chuck Beal in the far lane seems to get thrown to the wolves as he meets up with John Force in round number 1. Force hardly ever gets beaten in round 1. Until today, Chuck Beal wins and then has a Jim Epler-like explosion. Body comes off, cuts in front of Force. They tangled the top end, and that could have been really nasty.
Well, we just had a situation we were going after, and I think it put a hole out. It drove me right over on the center line. I didn't cross it. When I come back, I thought I was going to go around him, and he blew up. I was hoping he'd cross the center line before he got to the lights. Then he got in front of me, turned into a NASCAR race. Couldn't get off his ass. And hell, it ain't his fault. It's part of the game. It's a shame, lose a $100,000 hot rod, but that's what Casper and them guys pay us the bucks. Well, we'll fix it. We'll get after Tony to win this race.
A wild ride for both off to get ready for the biggest race of them all, the U.S. Nationals, which also plays host to the Big Bud Shootout, $100,000 for the best fuel funny car, based on qualifying from the year before. This is Ron Capps, the gold Copenhagen car in the near lane against Dean Scusa, round 1 of the shootout. Capps would get the win and then have another fire. This one even more devastating than the one 2 weeks earlier at Brainerd, Minnesota. That gold Copenhagen body was only supposed to race one weekend. This isn't the way they wanted it to go out. The safety folks would get there, Ron would climb out of the race car, and the team would go back to work in the pit area, putting the Copenhagen car back together and get it to the line not only to win round number 2, but go to the finals against Tony Pedregon for $100,000. And in a season that has been nothing but disaster for the Copenhagen guys, this could be their only highlight. You saw that Tony was out on him, then the clutch came out of the Syntac car, and Ron Capps picks up the $100,000 Big Bud Shootout bonus. That might almost pay for all of the parts they've destroyed in the last 2 weeks. And Ron was so happy when he won this race. Dale Creasy Jr., the Mad Magazine car in the far lane against Jack Wyatt. Creasy was not qualified. This was his last shot to get into the big show. He would not do it, but not for lack of trying. Almost like that Jim Epler explosion we saw from California. The engine lets go, and this time it takes off the entire body on that Mad Magazine funny car. Good thing they go by the slogan, what? Me worry? He was okay, got out of the car unharmed, but would not qualify for the running of the U.S. Nationals. And Dale Creasy Jr. from nearby Illinois. It'll be another WWF versus John Force matchup in the final round. This time, Stone Cold Steve Austin takes the measure of the champ. Force would like to win 12 this year for Austin and Castrol, but the WWF today will get their first one. A wild pedal fest, and what a way to end the 1999 Funny Car season. Jerry Tolliver and the Stone Cold.
It's the new year and we're here for the Castrol New Year Series. But we've also got for you a brand new show in the form of Wreckers Hotline Drag Racing 98. Well, the feature of the first round of the Castrol New Year Series, as always, is Top Door Slammers. Last year it was a clean sweep all the way through for Victor Bray, but, well, Victor, this year, Scotty Cannon 2, Victor 1. Can you level it up today?
Well, we'll be trying our hardest, obviously. Boys, is he a hard nut to crack? We're over in Perth there, come straight off the trailer around a 6:30, and took the track record on his first burn down there, and he's pretty much done the same ever since. I took one off him down in Calder Park in Melbourne, and we're looking to take this one off him today too, but as he just demonstrated on the qualifiers there, he ain't going to just let it have us. We're going to have to work for this one, I can tell you.
Well, it's been tough all the way. Paul Kasos is over in the American pit now. How's the vibes over there, Paul?
Scotty Cannon's pretty busy down here in the pits at the moment, signing plenty of autographs. You know, I think he's got the national record inside tonight. The national record's a 6:28. The world record's a 6:24. Scotty, can you go that quick tonight?
Well, we went a 44 in the heat just now, warm-up we call it. I think the car it would run 30 in the heat. I'm pretty sure I got the power, so if the air comes around, it will bank like they say it does. As you know, Victor set the world record here, I think last year with the air real good, so pretty sure we got it in the car if everything works good.
The Super for round 1 of the Top Door Slammers.
Yeah, Top Door Slammers brought to you by Superformance. This is the compulsory seeding round about to happen. And coming out on screen right now is Shane Elcote from Gladstone, driving that magnificent 41 Willys, taking on the 1957 Ford Custom line of Troy Critchley.
Troy Critchley having his last race meeting for the Castrol team before heading overseas. He's going to the United States of America. Well, what about the Elcotes? They've put a new supercharger on this car. It's come to life. Was already run 6.50 this afternoon. They're currently #1 qualifier, would you believe? Critchley will have to throw everything at him. And, well, Elcotes, have they got anything left?
Well, they're trying pretty hard. That 41 Willys really looking magnificent. Away they go, the 57 custom line, the Willys going well. It's Elcote, through he goes, 6:41, 340 kilometres an hour.
6:41, he is #1 qualifier, the quickest that car's ever gone. Fantastic performance, 212 miles an hour under the old scheme. Well, Top Door Slammer coming to life here for Superformance at round 1 of the Castrol New Year's Series. It's Peter Kapiris from Victoria up against Peter Gratz in his comeback meeting in the Valvoline 57 Chevrolet.
The Pennzoil Statesman out of Victoria, Peter Kapiris. What a great looking race car this one is, Rob.
Certainly is, and what about the work from Peter Gratz and his crew? They have been working day and night for weeks on end to put this car back together. A fireball back in August destroyed it. They've been waiting on new parts from the USA, and here they are, ready to take on the best there is in Top Door Slammer. He ran pretty well this afternoon. This is a compulsory qualifying round. ANDRA, the Australian National Drag Racing Association, trialling a new 3-round system just indoor Slammer. It's on trial. All the cars run here at 6 o'clock for this first round, and they all come back later on tonight.
Well, 6:41 is the time they're chasing to date, so Peter Caparis and Peter Gratz, the two Peters, are about to do battle down the quarter mile. Pennzoil up against Valvoline here tonight at the Castrol New Year Drag Racing Series.
It's the Oil Wars in Superformance Top Door Slammer, and a problem for Caparis. That car is very untidy. Gratz looks quick. 6:43, a great run, 350.7 kilometres an hour. That puts him into the number 2 qualifying spot, and after all the work, the crew are delighted.
Michael King now in the Krager Performance Commodore. He's having his first pass tonight down the quarter mile against Victor Bray in the Castrol 57 Chevy.
And there's around 15,000 fans packed into Willowbank Raceway for round 1 of the Castrol New Year Series to see if Castrol's Victor Bray can come out on top of the American Scotty Cannon. First though, he has to try and get a better qualifying position. He has been struggling this afternoon. Michael King, it's great to see him back in the Krager Performance Commodore. He's had a little bit of a layoff.
Yeah, had a few, hasn't had the greatest season, but great to see him back with us again. But gee whiz, these times are so important in qualifying. That 6:41 earlier on from Shane Elcott still stands. We saw a great pass there from Peter Gratz, but Victor Bray, he's the one who needs to get a good time this time round.
Conditions a little bit hot, a little bit humid here at Willowbank Raceway, but it's been done. 6:41, 6:43. Can Victor get back into those 6.3s, maybe even 6.2? It's a lot quicker than King. King is really starting to come back now. Look at this. 6:52 for Bray. That leaves him back in, well, number 4 position at the moment. Victor's a little way off the pace. Michael King still there, but still to come. Scotty Cannon, Andrew Searle, there's a few left in this.
Yeah, Andrew Searle and Scotty Cannon, our American visitor. So what a race this time. Andrew Searle, he's a real bucks down racer, does it really the hard way, but he's had a good season around Australia so far in this tour.
This is the first time that Andrew Searle's done the complete tour, right over to Ravenswood Raceway in Perth. He's run Adelaide International, Calder Park in Victoria along with Heathcote. Here he is now at Willowbank in the Acme Fiberglass Supplies custom line, and he is racing against well, one of the best in the world, Scotty Cannon in the ONSAC 1953 Studebaker.
Yeah, Scotty Cannon is the name synonymous with top door slammers right throughout the world. Held the world record. He and Victor Bray, of course, have had great rivalry off the track, I guess you could say, on paper. But this time giving him the opportunity to race in Australia up against Andrew Searle. That time we're chasing that 6:41. That's the number 1 qualifier.
Yes, Shane Elcott number 1 at the moment with a 6:41. Can Scotty Cannon come back? He's currently qualified number 3. Out they come. Andrew Searle was in front for about a car length, but now look at the American fly. 6:41.0. He is top qualified by 0.06 of a second, just in front of Shane Elcott. The US is showing the way at the moment. Scotty Cannon, number 1 qualifier. 1 car left to go.
Yeah, 9 in all contesting top door slammer here tonight at Willowbank Raceway. And Lucky Baleri, I think originally Holden
Commodore, that's right, and had a little bit of a shove, a chop top, a slope the windscreen. Let's drop the bonnet a little bit more, and she is now a 500 cubic inch Chrysler powered Holden Commodore, capable of 6 seconds at over 200 mile an hour, over 320 kilometres an hour. Reset the tacho. Oh, just a little bit of technical adjustment there from the crew chief on the tacho. But Lucky Baleri, he is currently number 9 qualifier. He's got a bit of work to do if he wants to step up.
Yeah, so the Holden qualifier winding it up now. Lucky Baleri at the wheel. Let's wait and see what sort of a time he runs. 6:98, 302 kilometres an hour.
Racers will this weekend attempt to wrestle the New South Wales Wild Bunch title from Sydney drivers. But Simon Farrell and Dennis Moreau have a tough task ahead as 96 winner Tom Jackson makes a return with a heavy Chevy. Amongst the 2,000 horsepower Holdens and Fords, It's the 1937 Chevy Coupe with Tom Jackson at the wheel that's likely to be making all the noise at the Canberra International Dragway tomorrow. An unplanned collision with the fence during practice today, putting a dent in the carbon fibre, but not Thompson's plans to recapture the title, which was his in '96.
No, we didn't bend any of the chassis or anything that's serious, so it's just a matter of it just won't look too pretty tomorrow.
Benny Gatt, the current title holder, is just one of a host of Sydney drivers vying for the Wild Bunch trophy.
There are quite a few guys from Sydney come down, guys like Benny Gatt and Brett Gillespie, and I think Simon Farrell's with his new engine is a bit of a threat as well. Farrell has revamped his HT Monero, enough forces under the bonnet now to run away with the title after some good 4-second passes.
It's run on a 526 Keith Black, which is all aluminium V8. Of course, supercharged, and it sort of puts out about 2,400 horsepower. Dennis Moreau's Alfa Romeo is the other local hope. He wasn't going to release the Purple Beast on an unprepared track this afternoon. Racing starts 5:30 tomorrow.
The Slammer Championship is conducted over 8 rounds Australia-wide each year. For the 1997 season, the Australian National Drag Racing Association decided to trial a new format of racing. This was to be done at the 5 events through December-January that make up the international tour with visiting American racers. With the cancellation of the Eastern Creek round of the championship, Willowbank Raceway's Castrol New Year Series round is the 4th leg of this trial. Drag racing is traditionally conducted as a series of elimination rounds, the same as a tennis tournament, with eventually just 2 competitors left to fight out a final for the ultimate reward. Andrew's trial system involves all competitors racing in the first round to determine their ultimate pairings, and then all returning to contest the second round. This is where the big difference comes in though. Rather than all the winners proceeding to the next round of racing, the 2 fastest winners go straight to the final. The next 2 fastest winners contest a consolation final to decide 3rd and 4th. All the others are finished for the night. Really, everything hinges on quick elapsed time in the second round. All other performances are irrelevant. It's fair to say that racer and spectator reaction to the trial system has been very mixed. It certainly means the cars appear on the track more during the main part of the event, but fans have struggled to understand what's going on, particularly when their favourite driver wins both his races but is suddenly out of the running. As to whether this trial format has a future, Australian champion Victor Bray considers that the jury is still out.
Well, we started off over in Perth, and I suppose I was a little bit dubious about what, changing away from something you've been doing for years and years. But and had a few little problems, but Andrew's seen fit to change a couple of the critical points of it. The qualifying now all counts towards the final rounds and stuff. And no, I think it's got a lot of potential for the future. I suppose what has to happen now is that Andrew and all the rule makers have to sit down with the races. We just have to chew through how it went. Everybody's pretty much seen it go. It was a trial, and we'll just see where we head in the future.
This trial format certainly affected the ultimate results at round 1 of the Castrol New Year Series. Second qualifier Shane Elcote missed the top spot by just 0.06 of a second, but a problem in the second round against Sydney's Lucky Baleri meant he went home without $1 of prize money after being the slowest loser from the second round. Likewise, Baleri was out of the running with too slow a time. Andrew Searles won many a race through tenacity, but despite defeating Australian Nationals winner Peter Kapiris, his fighting 6.74 second run wasn't quick enough to make the big money run. In his comeback meeting after fireballing his car, Peter Gratz won both his runs, including this one against Troy Critchley in his last race for the Castrol team. But Gratz missed the final by 0.05 of a second.
On the final of Superformance Top Door Slammer, Victor Bray against Scotty Cannon. Burnout war between these two. You know that Victor Bray wants Cannon, and he wants him very, very badly.
Well, I can guarantee you one thing out there, that we're going to give it absolutely everything we got on this run. Raced Scotty 3 times in the National Championship Series throughout Australia. The score's currently 2-1, so I'll in his favour. So I'll just leave it up to your mind to work out how hard I'm going to push on this final pass.
Well, I think he is very keen, Paul.
Yeah, the opportunity to take on Scotty Cannon in front of his hometown fans is what he's been waiting for. So what a final we've got coming up here now. Victor Bray looking there very confident. Maria tendering to his chores there. The on-sat car driven, of course, by the American champion Scotty Cannon.
I think there's a couple of hundred people, guests of Castrol here at this meeting, that will be willing on Victor Bray, along with 15,000 Australians in the stands. I don't know how many Americans are here, but he is up against the toughest of the tough, Scotty Cannon. He is, well, these two traded the world record back and forwards across the Pacific. Listen to the revs come up. This is throw everything at the racetrack and hope it handles it. Big hole shot, a great start for Bray. He's in front. Look at Cannon. Cannon's level. Bray's got him. 6:51, 3:48. The crowd go up, and what a result for the Aussies.
We let him. We got him on the line.
Victor, when it comes to close racing, we can always count on you for the best. 6:51 took the win against 6:49 on the hole shot.
Oh, love it. Absolutely fantastic.
Congratulations.
There she go, buddy. She quit in the
That's
top end or something, did she?
Yeah, burn a piston.
Have a look at this on the Wreckers Hotline replay. Victor Bray grabbed a big jump off the start line, Paul, but Scotty Cannon was coming right back at him.
Yeah, charging hard, side-by-side action. It was around about there that Victor got the advantage right on the line.
Well, as finals go, Victor, there won't be anybody that doesn't leave this racetrack happy tonight.
No, that's great, including me. And I just want to say to all the fans out there that tonight I was racing for a friend of ours at the drags here, a bloke with the name of Wayne Black. He couldn't actually drag race for a few medical reasons, raised an awful lot of money and got it for all those drag races over the last 5 or 10 years, got us to a lot of meetings and saved us a lot. Wayne, thanks a lot. He passed away a couple of weeks ago.
Our attractions this year's summer, that's Captain Cusso and Victor Bray. And it just shows you what happens when you fire up two supercharged methanol burners and go for a drive down the street. I was lucky enough to hitch a ride with Captain Cusso. Fast Freddy Cavassini. Wherever there's action, you're going to find Fast Fred.
He's always got to get into it.
And the awesome horsepower from these blown motors just amaze people. Wherever we fired the engines up, people came from miles around.
I mean, they are incredibly powerful cars. There's no doubt about that. Running just unbelievable times in Queensland at Willowbank Raceway. Those cars are built to do one thing, and that is perform.
Whenever they turned off their engines, people just flocked around to see these amazing pieces of drag racing machinery.
No doubt about it, boys. Melbourne, the two boys are draw cards wherever they go.
We've known them.
Coming out to join the escapades of Captain Cusso on the grass, we have the cult man of the Chevy set, Victor Bray, the man who made flat black fashionable, the man who doesn't like polishing things but likes horsepower, and most of all likes 57 Chevy. Now here's a man doing burnouts on the grass in a car that has over 1,200 horsepower, and Cusso riding shotgun. These guys have become quite good friends since the advent of Wild Bunch racing. Wild Bunch racing is sort of the opposite end of the scale to Andra Championship drag racing. It's designed to be fast and spectacular and colourful and have cars with huge amounts of character, and has been extremely successful up at Willowbank Raceway in Queensland. And here is a car that run the quarter mile in 8 seconds flat at about 170 miles an hour with 1,200 horsepower. A thing that is not made to go around corners in any way, shape or form. But look at these two guys. Cusso riding shotgun in Victor Bray's car. Now, of course, you can't run that engine for as long because that is an aftermarket aluminium Chrysler pattern Hemi made by Keith Black with an enormous supercharger on it. This car is designed to go 171. There's the man that stylish dress around Victor Bray. What a man. Two of the characters of Queensland drag racing. Oh, Crew Cut, Cusso and Victor Bray. Both enjoying themselves at the Summer Nats. I guess that you can make the boy into a man, but you can't take the boy out of a man. So.
Chevys, both Queenslanders.
Oh, I'm happy. I love these big Chevys. Have a look at Bray now. He turns it on. The crowd line up. They cheer and stomp and they smash the sideboards. They love him. The Queenslander, Victor Bray, and he comes out against another Queenslander from Tallabudgera, Peter Gratz. What a moment for this young bloke.
This is just a dream come true for Peter. He styled his career virtually after Victor Bray. The car's been built by Murray Anderson, the same guy that built Victor's car, and here he is in the final of the NZ Winter Nationals side by side with him.
And both turned out to perfection. Gratz now lights it up and lets the boss know that he's going to push him all the way. Victor Bray backs up now. Two terrific cars. These Chevys, I reckon there's something special.
They really do put on a show. When you take the engine out of an alcohol funny car producing 2,500 horsepower and put it in what started as a mid-50s family sedan, boy, you can understand why they call them Wild Bunch cars.
They are the Wild Bunch. And the girls backing them up down their own wheel marks to make sure they're going to get the best traction they possibly can. Well, Peter Gratz, he's hard to be thumping away, wouldn't he? Love to beat Victor Bray. Can he do it?
Well, the crowd we know will be behind Victor Bray, but Gratz, he's the underdog. He's got a lot of support, and he would just absolutely love to claim that Christmas tree trophy from Andrew.
Queenslander against Queenslander. Listen to these things. Don't you love the sound they make? All right, Rev, start the pitch. Almost ready. Gratz. Oh, will it be Bray? Gratz comes back. And Gratz has got a fight for all the way. But Victor Bray too good. The crew go up. And the Master's done it again. 1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Right. We got some rock and roll. Why? Because the door slammers are coming out pretty shortly. Now, I think that's Al Fountain's son there. Yeah, I'm sure it is, with his girlfriend. And he's just getting in the mood for his old man. And there's the old man, Al Fountain from New South Wales in the awesome, the Ute.
He's done a big burnout, gets the door open early to get the smoke out there. Peter Gratz doesn't mind smoking them up himself.
Peter Gratz lays the rubber down thick, and it's nice and smelly, and the crowd love it. And this girl's been on fire for most of the day, and she'll back him up too. So Gratzy, looking good.
Oh, looking fantastic. Not only has the car been doing the job, the show's been fantastic. The crowd just absolutely love it, and they really get involved with it.
Look at the work of this utility. Have a listen to the sound of it.
That's the sound of probably 1,800, 2,000 horsepower under the foot for Al Fountain. He's up against one of the hard chargers, the top qualifier, Peter Yahoo Gratz.
Yeah, not a bad nickname, is it? Yahoo. Comes from the Gold Coast area too.
Yes, lives and works down there on the Gold Coast, enjoys the sunshine, but likes his drag racing better.
All right, so Peter Gratz in the Chevy takes on Al Fountain from New South Wales in the Ute, the Ford Ute. So it's that old confrontation. Once again, Ford taking on the Chevy-powered cars. Here we go. Gratz both get away nicely. Gratz puts the foot through the firewall, and the big Chev is full of red today. Peter Gratz gets the Chevy cocked up and firing.
And a 6. Look at that. It was a strong one, a 6.68. That's the quickest so far this weekend. What a run for Gratz. He looks like he is so determined at the grand finals.
Well, there they go down the
of a brand new top fuel drag racing vehicle in Australia, and return of one of Australia's great race drivers in Graham Cowan.
Top fuel drag racing approaching perhaps a new era in Australia. We've still got Jim Reed. We now have Rochelle Splatt, who recently won the 1993 Nationals. And of course this man coming back augurs well for a strong future, Kev.
Yes, this is a brand new combination from the USA. Graham's put a big investment into it. His Rocket Industries firm is one of...
car transporter in the pits by any chance.
Yes, a beautiful piece. A big burnout there from Graham Cowan.
As far as they're concerned, Let's go, Graham. Oh, problem there, Kevin. Big problems. Oh, the clutch has exploded. There's fireworks all over the racetrack. It looks like Darling Harbour on New Year's Eve at Eastern Creek on Anzac Day.
Well, it certainly is a spectacular debut. The car started dropping material on the racetrack. Just taking a look at the replay here. Yes, it started to get up onto it, and I would suggest, as you've said, the clutch has come apart. That is the most spectacular clutch explosion I think I've ever seen. An amazing debut as we look at it again.
Just incredible. The head-on camera explosion personified, sending hot debris all the way into the race crowd. Look at that freeze frame shot. It shows just how high it went and also how wide. It's absolutely scattered the entire width of the racetrack, which at Eastern Creek is how many metres wide?
Yes, that's a big clutch explosion. Generally, these cars have a titanium, as we look up close there's a titanium clutch on the can on the clutch mechanism.
This way, the venue that this weekend will host the Australian Drag Racing Series Grand Final. Now, right from the outset of the program, we need to show you some rather action-packed incidents that occurred at the racetrack yesterday. You're now looking at 26-year-old Wayne Missingham, who hails from Camden, who this weekend was set to realise a lifelong ambition. In the top fuel car here, the parachute used to slow the car's progress at the end of the top end remarkably failed to open. Now, the pictures you're about to see certainly describe the wreck, a $200,000 race car in very, very bad shape. Tony Thornton, Andra's National Director, was one of the first on the scene, and he's going to describe in a moment or two exactly what he saw. Now, Missingham actually slammed the bank, we understand, at about 150 miles per hour.
Well, Tony, not the ideal way to start the Australian Drag Racing Series Grand Final. What did you actually see?
Well, not a great deal, David. I was at the finish line, which of course is downhill from here. We saw Wayne go through the end of the quarter fairly quickly, and no parachutes at all. And obviously the car was still going a fair rate of knots when it got to the top of the hill here. Apparently, I'm told Wayne is not too badly hurt. He's got an injury to his wrist and he's a little bit knocked about. But given the sort of accident it was, that's a good result, I think.
Well, sure, he obviously had to try and negotiate a right-hand corner here at the end at one hell of a speed.
There aren't too many sports in the world where you've got cars going that quickly, and when things go wrong, all you can do is hope for the best. We try hard to cater for every possible eventuality. And
now this should be a tremendous dash down the quarter mile. Both drivers edge forward. Green light's on now, and they get away side by side. It's the Pommy, though, Steve Reed, who emerges victorious. He goes through with a 6.274 at 220 miles per hour. Pedersen with this was a 6.4, and he might have a problem. No parachute.
Yes, he's obviously got a problem going right through the gravel trap and up over the hill. Well, that's very bad. That travel trap's just been put into racetrack in order to stop the cars, but he would have been doing over 220 mile an hour when he's gone through here, and it looks like from the camera position he in fact has gone a long way down through into the car park area of the racetrack.
I'd suggest about 500 metres into an adjoining paddock, and it would seem the car has slammed into a tree or something, Kevin. There look as though they're lifting the carbon fibre body off the car.
Yes, as we approach the car, they've obviously pulled the body off the car. Pedersen obviously was unable to shut the car down, and it's driven right through the gravel trap. Obviously, as you can see, all the safety people on the scene here.
Hey.
We might get off. You've got a little hidden bar down here where we can drink and drink and drink. Is it a safe?
Where's the safe? Oh, that's our safe.
Oh, that's the safe actually. It says something about locking that you can't.
There's our robes.
Yes. Oh, we've got a few extra blankets here.
Actually, can I borrow that camera for a minute? Please? Just for a second. I'll give it straight back.
And in here, we found the jackpot, fellas. Look. Chock-a-block, full of sparkling wines.
No, that's what I actually wanted to do, Sean. Excuse me. No. You see this? This is for everyone.
Long John Silver.
And this is out Adrian getting changed in the pits every day. Thank you. Hand that back.
Hey, and in here.
We have beer.
Go on.
You don't want to see that.
Let me do it. I'll just stick it behind.
Hey,
Now, it's full, eh? Oh.
2 VBs, 2 4Xs
They're
light.
about $100 each.
Yeah, I was going to say
Do you
that.
get whips for those?
Get cushions.
That's bondage stuff.
No, that's where you put your bags on.
No, that's where you
And you got your towels.
lay it across there and sign it. A bondage table. Good picking, Shane. The drag racer's rack.
I thought it was just a snappy seat that you...
Shannon, I don't mean to be rude. That's a luggage rack, isn't it?
No,
Put your
it's pretty
suitcase
freaking
somewhere.
comfy.
You idiot. Put it down.
Let's go, come on.
This is our phone, the dunny. Oh.
It's kind of like a shirt when it was laying here.
Bloody hell, you could have made a
acetone proof or whatever it is.
Colours. What is it?
Yeah, that's got methanol on it probably.
Hey, you taking the video?
Give me a look.
Probably running out of
Hey, do you want to get on TV?
the smears. I feel it's sweaty.
Yeah.
Sweat.
Very the red light zone.
Darwin, Adrian Christian in the Eastern Creek Performance Hold'em from Sydney. So not only the championship category here, but records online top comp, exhibition bracket of hot is popular. Very much so. That ace was a piece of it here about a month ago, I believe. And unfortunately for him, was a little bit in the braking area and behind the tyre wall.
Great, I'm not the only arsehole in the place. You are, too.
71 strapped on top. Out of the States, that would have been a Vega, and it came out of the factory with a very poor four-cylinder engine in it. Converted to a lot of small block D8s in the U.S., similar to what you see there, but we call that a Vega. Okay, we call it a Toronto around here in Australia.
Texas is back up chick once again. See, he slows down. Look at Adrian.
Whiplash.
Okay, tower. Left lane single, 535. And it's clear.
Yeah, I'm Victor Bray, owner driver of this 1957 Chev Wild Bunch car. It's based on a Holden panel van chassis. Built it, me and my mates built it here in the shed, out here on my farm, and my wife. And it's nothing fancy, but it does what we want it to do. So far it's done all the right things at the track, most of the right things at the track. We've had to modify some of the original equipment on it and put a bit more caster in the front end, change the camber and that a little bit in it. And the rear end we built ourselves, had a bit of trouble with it in the first place, but eventually it seemed to come up okay. But that's about what we got here. And over here we got the engine. The car's 3,630 pound, but that doesn't worry this baby too much. It's a 500 cubic inch Keith Black aluminium Hemi. The heads are manufactured by a local drag racer in Los Angeles by the name of Brad Anderson. They're completely milled heads out of solid billet. The supercharger is a 1471 Mooningham unit. The heads have dual spark plugs in them, which is fired by these two magnetos. The magnetos are set at identical timings. Has a compression ratio of about 10.5 to 1. Camshaft with about 700 thou lift in it. It has 2.5 inch exhaust pipes on it. The horsepower of the engine is depending on the climate on the day, the humidity, the temperature. On a good day they should produce around the 1,500 to 1,600 horsepower mark. We're still experimenting with some fuel systems at the moment. We haven't quite got it to that stage, but we're trying our best. Piss off, dog. Here's the clutch we use. It's a centrifugal clutch. It's called a Cryoglide. It has 3 plates, and it's based on the centrifugal weights. Like as the more clutch you want to put in the car, the more weight you hang off the centrifugal fingers, and it applies the clutch quicker on the run. You would obviously want to run the clutch as tight as you could, thus meaning that the car would be projected down the track and hook the engine to the rear end at the fastest possible speed, but sometimes the track and tyres don't allow for that. And you've got to adjust the clutch back a bit and let the clutch slide and reduce some of the horsepower out of the engine, and then release the horsepower again up at high speeds on the run. That's the reason for using the Cryoglide clutches. The gearbox is a 4-speed Lenco. We use it in the 4-speed configuration, which gives us an extremely low first gear around the 3.9 mark, and then the power's then transmitted through the tail shaft, a normal type tail shaft with unis into the rear end, which is a 488 rear end ratio, onto 33.5 by 17 inch slicks.
Next at RPM, Frank Vincent meets the Australian drag racing legend who's about to take the wheel of a dragster with a tragic history. Plus, we check out Indy qualifying and grab a pit pass with Mark Osler. It's ironic that some of Australia's biggest motor racing crowds attend some of our shortest events, drag racing. The biggest name in front of those big crowds at those short events is Victor Bray. He's done it all in his award-winning career, but soon a new challenge with more than a little emotion attached.
Trav's whole life was like a drag race, I think, that didn't finish. It was one project followed by the next.
Travis Brumby was on the brink of drag racing greatness. His revolutionary design Lamborghini top-door slammer was about to sweep aside its opposition and change the thinking of competitors in the sport at every level.
Just looking over at Travis's work there on his Lamborghini, you got to think that with the welding, the quality of the welding, the new ideas that he incorporated in it, like the rear end, the way he ran the shock absorbers horizontal and run levers up to them, so he had another place to adjust the leverage on them. But first look in Travis's car, 2 seconds, it had it all there.
It only stands 1 metre high and 2 metres wide, but it's already created a mountain of interest.
Peter Brock went to the car show, and the next day he was on one of the radio stations, and he commented that if you come to the car show you really should go and look at something that's pretty special, which of course was the Lamborghini. And I happened to be there one night, and there was a gentleman looking at it, and he said he thought it was pretty special, and I said, I think I know you, and he said, yeah, I was Martin Brundle. And so with that sort of, those comments, we were quite proud of what Travis had achieved.
Travis spent more than 2 years designing and building the vehicle from the ground up. It was to become the latest addition in a long line of innovations, like the Travis Brumby skateboard and the Brumby radio-controlled cars. But just when he was on the verge of his finest hour, the 25-year-old's bright future was cut short.
Trav got injured. Not sure, we think we know how he injured his leg, and he had a blood clot formed in his leg, and be known to anyone. And then, you know, on Mother's Day he went to bed, and apparently that blood clot moved from his leg, from his calf, and went to his lung, and he would have died in his sleep.
What is the future of the car now?
We're going to complete it, of course, have Victor drive it. The Australian record is 6.9 seconds for the class that it'll run in, which is AAAP. We think it's capable of doing that, and it'd be great for Victor to go out and do it on its first run.
Travis Brumby was a visionary. He had two main dreams. He wanted to build a sleek, state-of-the-art car, and he also wanted to beat Mr. Drag Racing, Victor Bray. Victor Bray is currently the most credentialed competitor in Australian top-door slammer competition. He holds the world record of 6.25 seconds over a standard quarter mile, clocking a speed of 228.6 miles per hour. The Queensland-born driver has won the Australian title 3 years running and is a veteran of 20 years' experience. Bray is one man who can certainly push the Lamborghini to its limits.
I've talked to his family, his brother mainly, and yeah, they want to see the car to fruition, you know, want to see it out onto the racetrack. And if they chose me to be that guy, well, I'll gladly and proudly do it, you know. It's something that I'd look forward to.
Once the finishing touches are complete,
Las Vegas Boulevard, known as the Strip, filled with high-dollar action, where dreamers bet against the odds. And across the lanes from him, the MBNA colors for Corey McLenithan, currently 9th in points. I'll tell you, this is a wild ride, Top Fuel.
Well, they're the fastest accelerating vehicles on the planet Earth, and out accelerate the space shuttle by almost twice.
They will pull, these drivers will, 5 Gs when they launch, and I guess conversely a negative 5 Gs when they deploy the chutes.
Actually, they stop even harder than when they accelerate, so it's quite a ride down the track. But in order to get a fast ride, the crew chiefs here are going to have to have made some adjustments after the last round of competition, Eli, because we remember both these cars had some traction problems.
And that's one thing we've been seeing throughout all of the competition, even when the Federal Mogul teams have been out there. Some of the alcohol-burning machines have had trouble getting a hold of the racetrack now. I just stepped outside during one of the commercial breaks just to get a feel myself. It's well over 90 degrees now. It's gotten quite hot.
Yeah, and that makes the track slippery, and you know the black asphalt down there can get well over 100 degrees. Amato said earlier it was about 125. That's going to cause poor traction, and that's what they have to be able to compensate for.
Wes Cerny says, Corey Mack, you're all set. Jimmy Prock tells the same to Joe Amato, the crew chiefs. Let's see who advances to the first ever finals here in Las Vegas. Good launch for everybody. Good drag race. Give the win to Joe Amato.
476 to a 74. For by speed, how fast can you afford to go?
And part of what money buys is talent. And there's a lot of talent out there in that pit area that's making these cars run so fast today.
Then you got Andrew Cowan right there, the family operation, Graham Cowan and his brothers and everybody, against Bob Vandergrift, Ray Alley. Doesn't come cheaply as the crew chief right there. Bob, can these upsets continue, or do we start seeing some semblance of normalcy? What do you think?
Well, I got to like Vandergrift right here, but I'll tell you, following up what Frank and Steve both said, the Cowan team told me their big problem is they've never done this before. They don't know exactly what to do. They don't have it down to a system between rounds, and they're coming up probably a little more ragtag than you would expect a Jersey's team, or Corey Mack, or Tony Schumacher, the other three drivers in the semifinals.
There is nothing like seat time in this business, is there?
Well, seat time, time testing, you certainly can't come out and make 20 or 30 test runs in a top fuel dragster in a day. It costs $5,000 or $6,000 just to run the car down the quarter mile one time. And you can only do about 3 or 4 runs a day because of all the maintenance. So the test time is really at a premium for these teams.
Bob Vandergrift, we've said it before, as Ray Alley gets in position. He is still winless this year, has come close. And Andrew Cowan, he's just riding the wave of, hey, I'm here, let's have a good time and see what happens. That's the approach they are taking.
He probably can't have a bad day from here on, I wouldn't imagine.
Vandergrift reaction time. Cowan, though, with the power of 468, 297 miles an hour. How about them apples right there? Nationals at the age of 19. Steve Evans, a remarkable story.
Yesterday was Father's Day in Australia. You'd like to give the U.S. Nationals to your dad here in just a bit.
Yeah, I would. I mean, someone pinched me, man. It's like a dream. I mean, it's not like, I mean, I watch all these guys back home on video after work each day. I mean, it's not every day you get to race and beat Bob Vandergrift out there. I mean, we're just having too much fun. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's great for K&N, and it's just great for the team. Thanks.
Win or lose, they'll probably celebrate at the Outback Steakhouse, huh, Eli?
I would think so. Little Alice Springs chicken or something along those lines. Down under for this next story.
Yeah, it's interesting. Andrew Cowan on the left is working on the engine. Guy that looks an awful lot like him, his twin brother, John, the crew chief, working on the engine on the right. I asked their dad, Graham, if they heard anything. They said, well, we pitched the blower belt. We don't see any real problems with the engine right now, but until they field trip.
The wall bunch is a term you don't usually associate with motorsport, but mention it in drag racing circles and you're quickly brought up to speed. It's supercharged tin tops in all shapes and forms, dating back to the 70s when Dennis Siramis in his time machine Toyota Corolla battled it out with Jeff Burnett's Alky Burner Tirana. Little did we know that then the seeds of Wild Bunch were being planted. In 1984, when John O'Carney rolled into the ADRs with the supercharged small block Chevrolet under the bonnet of his Commodore, fans just couldn't get enough of the late model lines and its unmistakable idol. Already popular on the US East Coast, it didn't take too long for the Aussie version to take off. Right here at Willowbank Raceway in September 1985, the first Wild Bunch meeting was held with only a 4-car field and just 3 of those supercharged. From this modest beginning and visits from Americans Camp Stanley and Tommy Howes in 89 and 91, Wild Bunch has produced some of the stars of drag racing in Australia today.
Memories of the Wild Bunch of the early days, touring up and down the east coast of Australia, Gladstone, Mackay, Townsville, back to Willowbank Raceway. And, you know, with some of the southern tracks at the time, weren't that big. It was real big up here. You know, we were cruising around, all the guys were together. A lot of the early names of guys you still see around today. Some are still racing, some aren't, but that'll be the best days, the days when none of us had any loot, none of us knew what we were doing, but we were having a ball.
The Wild Bunch has carved a niche in Australian drag racing history, entertaining generations of fans and still going strong. As long as there are supercharged sedans, there will always be the Wild Bunch.
Certainly is the case, and of course the Wild Bunch is the category that spawned the so popular top door slammer, professional category that has evolved out of it. Garth McIntyre, as we move into round 2, he is up against Scott Leo. All the guys come back. It's the top 2 point scorers that go into the final. And we have a tiebreaker in the second round, of course, Paul. If there are more than 2 races with 2 wins from 2 starts, it is the 2 that are closest to their nominated handicap time in this round of racing. That makes it fun. They've got to win, but they've got to make sure they also run close to their dial-in.
So both of these cars are staged, and away they go. Green light for both of them. Scott Leo out there in front. Now the question is, can Garth McIntyre catch him? I don't think so. Scott Leo takes it out at 8.53 at 2.
Very, very important, not only in terms of drag racing, but there's a fair bit of state pride at stake here today as well.
There certainly is. Let's just for the points to 4, and they're looking as though they're going to go on with that very good form. Now Andrew Constantinou, representing New South Wales, will take on a Queenslander that is very popular, to say the very least, Kev.
Yes, Dave Baxter in the Falcon. Dave, one of the original Wild Bunch cars in Australia, but as we look at Andrew Constantinou, one of the more popular cars here in New South Wales. In fact, sponsored by Eastern Creek Performance, and as you can see by that burnout, a very, very popular car. Coming out of the mist on the other side, that's Dave Baxter. Dave Baxter driving an XE Falcon sedan. This is powered by a 500 cubic inch Chrysler Hemi engine. It's an aluminium version, so it's the real racing version. He's been very, very successful. The car hasn't been the fastest in the country, but in Dial Your Own Wild Bunch racing, that really doesn't matter.
It certainly doesn't. Constantinou waving the blue flag of New South Wales, sponsored by many people, including Lynx Engineering, also long-time supporters of drag racing. And Constantinou in the past has achieved a great deal of publicity as a result of employing a rather attractive promotional lady who's not here today. Okay, Constantinou and Baxter on the right-hand side. That's Baxter. And we're set for a start now. Constantinou got the jump. Obviously a handicap start. Now can Baxter peg him back? It's not looking like it at the moment. And Constantinou is absolutely flying away. And
we'll be back with the Castrol Series after the break.
This afternoon, drag racing from Willowbank in Queensland. It's the Castrol New Year Series. Now, this is a purpose-built raceway. In excess of 15,000 people have turned out to see Australia's best in action. Now, you talk about drag racing, you talk about the best, you've got to think of Jim Reed. In 23 years, he's captured 14 Australian titles. He's held every record imaginable. He was the first man to break 6 seconds, 7 seconds, 5 seconds. Doesn't matter. Throw a record at him, he's held it somewhere along the line. One of the strangest records is his sponsorship. The Winfield cars, red, yellow and white cars, for 23 years, an individual record in sponsorship in Australia. In fact, one of the longest individual sponsorships run anywhere in the world. Canal.
While Jim and Bruce are seen here discussing their start in drag racing and expressing wonder at their achievements to 1973, we now know that Jim is consistently the fastest drag racer in Australia, and he holds the record for the longest single sports sponsorship in Oz.
Bruce, if I had said to you in 1966, when we were racing the Green Ute, in 1973 we were going to be running 2 fuel cars in the Tirana Funny, what would you have said then?
I wouldn't have believed it, no.
Well, we're not. We're running, what, 2 fuel cars, 2 funny cars, and what, you've got a connection with, what, probably half a dozen others.
No, race straight.
You know, it's amazing. I often sit down and think of a night if somebody had said to me when we first started racing the Green Ute that, you know, you're going to have half a dozen cars between now and 1973. You're going to have probably half a dozen blow-ups. You're going to spend something like $20,000 on racing machinery. I think I would have told them back then that, you know, they're stark raving mad. To think that we had a work ute that we raced every Sunday. I think you can often think back then where we used to have it loaded up with plumber's material, and we'd come home with unloader on the Saturday, we'd go racing and hope to God she was still in one bit when we got back. And
even race with the roof racks on.
Race with the roof racks, yeah. Off with the sun visor and the revision mirror and out to the strip. And Sunday night we'd say, phew, she's still in business, we can earn some money tomorrow. But, you know, people often say to me, how did you get started? You know, whatever made you get interested in it? And that bloke who walked in here the other night, 7 years since we've seen him, Percy Mitchell. You remember Percy? Well, he was the start of it all. Because we were in your backyard that day when we said, all right, we'll all work on the car and we'll take a drag racing. And that was the very first day we set foot on a drag strip. And to think, you know, that you can come so far in such a short time. have so much equipment around. And
what's it going to be like in a couple of years, huh? What's all in it?
all depends, you know. Drag racing started off with crowds around about 700 and 800, and last night they had got 10,000.
Out of trouble. She'll be one of the big players here, and she talks now to Michael Marr.
As you can see, you don't have to be in a racing suit to be losing weight today. It's about 40 degrees in the shade. Better day for the beach, Rochelle?
Definitely, to be in the water.
Now, what effect will this heat have on the engines?
Well, the engines won't make as much power as they normally would when it's very humid, because it's very humid today. It does affect the way the engines perform.
So, will you go through 5 seconds? Is that a possibility?
We've had better days to do it. You never know. We could go out there and it could just have run 4 seconds, under 5 seconds, but I doubt it very much.
300 miles an hour?
Definitely not 300 miles an hour. It's very hard to run 300 miles an hour anyway, and I don't think today is going to be on our side for the heat, the humidity.
Right, not too much camaraderie here now. They're out in the track. Rochelle Splatt comes out breathing fire. Jimmy Reed, I think, would have to be the most sentimental favourite I've ever seen. I mentioned that he'd been associated with his sponsor for 13 years earlier. Obviously that's wrong. It's 23 years. It's the longest sponsorship in this country, one of the longest in the world, and I think everyone's got their fingers crossed that he can perhaps win this.
December 30th, 1995, the final event, the final Winfield-sponsored drag racing in Australia, and Jim Reed trying to win it for his sponsor. He's got over 20,000 people. They love Rochelle, but tonight they just all think it's got to be Jim's night. We don't know yet. Rochelle's the one with lane choice. She's the one with the quickest times in the lead-up.
So Rochelle Splatt, lane choice, goes into this final. I mean, you've got to feel sorry for her. I've never seen Reedy so pumped up. He has really been jumping around like a leaping gazelle around the pits. He's been waiting for this final to come. He had to fight to get there. Rochelle Splatt, here they go. And look at this, it's a great matchup. 2 all side by side. I think Jim Reed, I think someone wrote the script. And yes, look at the crew. They've gone up. Hard to tell where we're from. Jimmy Reed's done it. Jimmy Reed has done it. Oh, what an unbelievable win. I've never seen him so animated.
Really pumped up in the car. A 5.12 beat a 5.20. Rochelle was right with him, but Jimmy Reed, he's completed the fairy tale.
Oh, incredible stuff as we see him off the line here. Look at him light him up. Jimmy Reed came out all guns smoking, and Rochelle took it to him.
There was nothing in it in the reaction times. This was a side-by-side race till the very end. Reed the winner.
So there we go. Jimmy Reed comes across the line. Michael Marr is down there. We'll be talking to the man. I don't know the pressure that he's held over this weekend, but he's managed to pull it off. You've got to feel a bit sorry for Rochelle Splatt, but look at him. I've never seen him this pumped up. Michael Marr's with him now.
Jim, 512, you got your send-off. Congratulations.
I never win another race.
This is the one you wanted?
This is the one I wanted.
You're pretty emotional, eh? Congratulations again, Jim.
Well, what do you say, Rob? I mean, he's waited so long. That sponsorship deal, 23 years. He drove his heart out to get there. Rochelle Splatt took it him. I've never seen him like that, and I've known him for a long time.
Well, Jim Reed, 23 years with Winfield. He calls them family, not a sponsor, so he's losing his part of his family as far as he's concerned, but he's given them the send-off that he wanted.
And look at the crew. This was the reaction from the crew. Listen to this.
What a beauty!
Oh, do I love that? Yeah. I love that.
We're going to go back up the track. Wife Denise comes over, the crew. They are a family. They're as tight as you get. And look at this. Look at the scenes here. The crowd waiting for him to come back down the line. There he is.
What a way to go out. Winfield, they've been his support for 23 years, and he's given them the send-off that you couldn't write this in a Hollywood script.
There he is, Jimmy Reed. The crowd just loving every second of what he's done here. It's been a fantastic...
He's the grizzled veteran of Australian drag racing, always pushing the limits.
A
was very fortunate somebody was watching down on me, I think, because I shouldn't be here.
She's the rookie, but already with a 300-mile-an-hour run to her name.
The whole car just shakes and vibrates and rocks, and when I'm sitting on the start line and it's doing that, that's when I enjoy it.
It's a good feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it.
Their rivalry is drawing crowds in the thousands to see 5 seconds of madness.
Good luck.
It costs about $2,500 a go. It's all over in 5 seconds, and at the end of it, all you remember is sheer terror. Drag racing machines are frightening things. 0 to 150 in less than 1 second. G-forces more than you'd experience in a rocket launch. You're getting one of these cars and you're sitting on a bomb. But that doesn't seem to worry two top Australian drivers, Rochelle Splatt and Jim Reed. They're known as Beauty and the Beast.
The smell of the nitromethane, burning of the rubber in the burnout. You step on that throttle, it's like something you've never experienced.
The whole car just shakes and vibrates and rocks, and when I'm sitting on the start line and it's doing that, that's when I enjoy it.
It's a good feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it.
These are the world's most powerful racing cars, top-fuel dragsters. And here's the view when they're going more than 400 kilometres an hour. It's a ride Australia's Mr. Drag Racing, Jim Reed, has taken 1,000 times.
And you step on the throttle, you can imagine you've got 2,000 pound of race car only with 5,000 horsepower, wanting to go down a quarter mile, and it thrusts you back in the seat and you can't move.
At 51, Jim Reed has won 14 national titles. But tonight, with considerable hype from the commentators, his crown is under threat from the unlikeliest of challenges.
Man versus woman. Oh, okay, well, I'll tell you what. This is going to be a hard one. Jim don't want a woman to beat him, and Rochelle don't want a man to beat her.
I tell you what, this is going to be a great race. Hoping to bring
Rochelle's in. Rochelle's done it. She's gone.
Do you mind that sort of thing? Man against woman?
No, I don't mind it. I mean, they do it to get the crowd going and make the crowd interested. And I think the crowd love coming and seeing a woman and a man race against each other.
You know, it doesn't necessarily bother me, but some of the younger guys out there, I guess they don't like the thought of Rochelle beating up on them. Even some of the older guys, admittedly, they probably don't like her beating up on them, but, you know, you'd rather one of the boys beat you.
Here in Australia, there are only 10 drivers racing these nitro-burning machines, and only one of them is a woman, Rochelle Splatt. 2 years ago, in her very first race, Rochelle won the national championships. The promoters couldn't have asked for better. Rochelle's win set up the perfect rivalry. Young versus old, male versus female, or, as it's now advertised, Beauty and the Beast.
I think it's quite humorous myself.
Who's the beauty and who's the beast?
I'm definitely the beauty, aren't I?
Well, I think I'm the beauty and he's the beast.
It's up racing! Oh, look, the Reed go! The bomb smoked the tyres!
Controls inside this machine are unbelievably simple. Steering wheel, every car's got to have one. These things control the fuel flow. One for the warm-up, and this one for when you're going flat out. Flat out, it flows at a rate of 200 litres a minute. Over on this side, a handbrake that you hang on to and then let go on the amber light, and whack, the accelerator. Interestingly, when you hit the accelerator, the fuel is already flowing at its full rate. So what the accelerator does is open these butterflies up the back and let the air in. In a sense, the acceleration is coming from the air. Acceleration, more than 100 miles an hour in less than a second.
NASA said, no, it's impossible. You cannot make a 2,000-pound object move from a standing start over a quarter mile and achieve 200 miles an hour. So when we went and achieved 200 miles per hour, they said, well, you won't go any faster than 210 mile an hour. That's the fastest you'll ever go. So when we went 250 mile an hour, they said, get out of here, we don't want to know you. We could have given them some advice how to get their rockets onto the moon quicker.
And they're nearly as costly as rockets. $700 in just fuel for 5 seconds, plus wear and tear. Billy cartwheels.
Yes, but they're designed to do 300 mile an hour.
Do you mind if I kick them?
Yeah, go right ahead.
What's under here?
Underneath here is the fuel tank.
And all this?
This is the brain of the car. We've got clutch management system, we've got a fuel management system, and we've got a computer system.
Computers?
Yes, they're indispensable on these cars.
I understand this. This is to keep you alive if you make a mistake.
Yes, that's right.
The business end?
Yeah, this is the business end, 5,000 horsepower here.
No tread on the tyres?
No, we need maximum width to get down the racetrack for traction.
How much?
Brand new, $250,000.
Jim is a full-time professional drag racer with a tobacco company picking up his bills. But such sponsorship will be banned next year, so it could be curtains for Jim. So when the tobacco promotion ban goes into effect, that's going to be, give or take, $250,000 out of your pocket.
At least, at the bare minimum, it'll be over $250,000 out of my pocket, yes.
So how are you going to make it up?
My biggest problem with getting another sponsor is I've been with the tobacco company so long, we're in the Guinness Book of Records, we're the longest individual sponsored person in the world by anybody, 23 years. And they claim I'm a bit typecast, you know, like an actor.
Rochelle is new to the drag racing stage, 25 years old, glamorous, and with an army of fans.
My mate here and I, we drove all the way down from Canberra to Calder to see a race, and now we've come all the way to Sydney to see a race.
Already signed in.
Yeah, can I get a signing on the back of my jacket? I'm trying to get...
Rochelle spent last year driving in the United States, drag racing's mecca. Over there, she ran under 5 seconds, the performance benchmark, and became the first woman ever to top 300 miles an hour. No one's ever done that in Australia, least of all her father, Ian Splatt, back in his drag racing days. Ian's now her team manager and quite happy to support his daughter from the pits. When those tyres are screaming and the fire's pouring out the back and she's about to go down the track, do you worry?
Not now, because I know she's capable of it. When she first started, yes. They tried to get me to take videos of the car. That didn't work because it was shaking. And, of course, I'd put the video down when she took off.
When Jim goes racing, it's an even bigger family affair. Two of his sons, Bruce and Phil, are in the pit crew, and wife Denise is always there.
Oh, I'd be lost without my family. I couldn't go racing without my family. You know, my life's in their hands. My sons, everyone knows what they've got to do. I totally trust them.
But still, accidents happen. In 1990, this was nearly Jim's last run.
I was very fortunate somebody was watching down on me, I think. Really, I shouldn't be here.
The shock of the crash left Jim a diabetic, but incredibly, he was able to walk away. Because they crash, is that why you're reluctant to let Phil follow in your footsteps as a driver?
Well, I don't know whether I could stand there and watch. It's a worry. It's a real worry. I really have never ever wanted my kids to drive because I know the dangers of it.
Do you ask yourself sometimes, why am I doing this when the risks are quite serious?
I ask myself why, and but then when you get to the racetrack and you do it over again, it's sort of, it makes it all worthwhile, just that excitement, that adrenaline.
These exciting things don't just crash,
they explode. Getting out fast is everything.
Whenever I get down there, I like to just jump out straight away, just in case there's a small fire or something's
Or a big
happened.
one.
Or a big one, yeah, because you can't see what's behind you. You can't see whether you're on fire or not.
8, come on, you can do it, come on, and go, and 9, good.
There are 9 big drag meets this year. And the girl with the rose tattoo is building up for the next one.
9, good, up!
Since her return from the United States, Rochelle is 1 race up on the old Fox, Jim, and with this sort of regime, she plans to stay that way.
Come on, push it, up, good, that's it, 6, good, come on.
Rochelle, it's great to have her back in Australia. It's even better to have her back at Eastern Creek.
What's
Hi, my name's Rochelle Splatt and I drive the Dragway Bob J2 Mark Top Fuel car.
Rochelle qualifies for the following day's eliminators, and first up, she's to meet Jim.
The girl. I got the hardest run out of all of you.
You got her the first round.
You'll be right, I'll never live it down. I'll get out there and stay there.
Do you get the feeling that his manhood is at stake here?
Well, probably, yes.
People try to compare her to myself quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I really don't think it's a fair comparison. She's got a long way to go yet.
The 2 crews, Jim and Rochelle's, worked through the night preparing their cars. Indeed, between every race, sometimes 3 or 4 times a day, the dragsters' engines are totally stripped down and then rebuilt. Then, just before race time, they fine-tune. The critical performance factor is the volume of fuel flowing to each cylinder. It's set taking careful account of air density and track conditions.
It looks a lot smoother than that. Look at that. Oh, here.
The overall winner today will take home around $11,000. It's barely enough to pay for the burnt rubber. But for Jim and Rochelle, there's much more than prize money at stake.
Decided what lane he's taking?
We'll take the top one if Graham doesn't oil.
That one?
Yeah, then we'll be gentlemen-like and we'll give you the bad lane.
Thanks.
Pleasure. Good luck.
This is this run between Rochelle Splatt here on in the snap-on field lane and Australia's Jim Reed.
It's the will to win is the beast, isn't it? Go out there to win races, not to lose them, so it's got to be a bit of a beast.
But she's coming back strong. It's close. It's close. It's green. 5:02 for Jim Reed.
Richard, now the car.
You think you're going to do it?
Told you, I'm old and crafty.
Looking at Jim and I'm thinking, come on, car, come on.
Rochelle versus Jim, youth versus experience, novice against veteran, beauty against beast, whatever. It's a rivalry that will cause Jim Reed a few more aches and pains yet, and one that will pull in the crowds, keen to see if the beauty can beat the best.
I'm getting there.
Real fast.
Probably, yeah, faster than what...
Burnout area now is Joe Polito in Shell Wetherall Park Pro Stock Ford Probe, and Andrew Constantinou in his Double B Gas Holden. I notice Constantinou there is running without the front bodywork. He's had quite a deal of trouble this weekend. Did a huge wheel stand during qualifying and bent the front chassis work. And they had an all-night job to rebuild the front of the car and put a set of wheelie bars under the back. And then in qualifying this morning, did a practice pass, came back into the pits and had a minor accident with the side of a garage and broke the fiberglass front bodywork off the car. So he's running here today, this afternoon without any front bodywork. It's going to be like pushing a house through the air.
Yes, and Joe Polito, of course, very swoopy car, Pro Stock Eliminator, the carburetted, the equivalent, I guess, for drag racing of touring cars. This should be a very interesting match race. There is a new combination in the Eastern Creek Performance Monaro, and as David's already said, they've had a heck of a weekend. I'd really say that they haven't put down a full pass to date, and I would expect Polito should be able to handle this one fairly easily. Very swoopy car. Polito used to the Pro Start heads up leave, and there it once again proves it. just drives away.
The Conacher Winter Nationals has been growing at just an unbelievable rate. Originally established at the old Surfers Paradise International Raceway over 30 years ago, the Winter Nationals was basically a local event. When Surfers closed 10 years ago, the event was moved to Willowbank Raceway. Now that first event was contested by just 140 drivers and riders and attracted around 5,000 spectators. By the 1994 Winter Nationals, 317 competitors and 18,000 spectators came through the gates. 2 years later, competitor numbers had grown to 380 and last year topped 400 for the first time, while the crowd had grown to a Conacher Winter Nationals record of almost 34,000. Despite continuing expansion, it was clear that facilities were really at their limit. A major expansion program had to be undertaken, as track manager Dennis Sirimus explains.
Last year we had 403 competitors, and those number of competitors almost gridlocked the place. There was cars going right up to behind the grandstands, and we knew we had to do something pretty well immediately and forsake a lot of the other projects like grandstands and other things that we had on plan, because this one had a higher priority.
What resulted was building a much larger scrutineering area in a previously unused zone adjacent to the track's braking area. New 8-metre long scales were installed to speed up the weighing of long wheelbase dragsters.
The race meeting are the emergency crews. They're always ready for action for any emergency either on or off the track.
Best when the dedicated team of individuals who make up our emergency team have nothing to do, but it's extremely reassuring to know they're all ready to roll immediately if there's any sign of trouble.
Well, that's certainly the case, Paul. There's a lot of drivers that have their health due to the fact of the quick action of the Queensland Fire and Rescue Service. And a number of those have been in the Wreckers Hotline Top Comp category because they're fast race cars, and whenever you've got a fast vehicle, the potential for a danger is obviously there.
Yeah, two pretty quick cars out there on the track right now. That's Scott Leo, and taking on Scott is Tom Jackson.
Well, Jackson's dialed in at 7.35 seconds in that Komatsu car. I mean, that is a pretty quick dial-in for a sedan. He's going to be giving away 0.8 of a second handicap start to Scott Leo in the competition performance Commodore. Come out strong as Leo. Have a look at that car of Jackson's. A little bit... Welcome back to Wreckers Hotline Drag Racing as we move into the semi-final of Top Door Slammer, brought to us by Ice Break, the refreshing taste of real iced coffee. And it is Andrew Searle in the red custom line to take on the Pennzoil might of Peter Kapiris in the Studebaker. Searle was the number one qualifier though with a 6:31. He put away Les Winter in round one. Peter Kapiris qualified down the order in fifth. He ran that 6:56 in the very first qualifying session. Defeated an out-of-shape Robin Judd in the first stanza. Now he is up against the number one qualifier, but Kapiris has been pretty confident all weekend. Got the best of everything in the Studebaker. Andrew Searle, Bucksdown racer, but he's been really knocking over some of the giants of the sport.
Yeah, certainly you had a good qualifying session at Andrew Searle. Wild action right through qualifying. A race on this time though. He's going well here in the custom line. The Studebaker side by side. The custom line of Andrew Searle, 6:44, 3:41.
What a race in Icebreak Top Door Slammer. There wasn't too much across the line, but on the Wreckers Hotline replay, have a look at the Studebaker. Picking the front wheels up in second gear. Getting loose, getting sideways, and will certainly be Victor Bray that will meet Andrew Searle. We see Bray inside, courtesy of the Odyssey Batteries in-car camera. He was due to run Michael King in this semi-final, but King has damaged the engine in the Thunder Road Racing Commodore hearse. Couldn't make the call, so Victor Bray is going to get a free run. But there's one thing you can guarantee about Victor Bray. He will not be idling down the racetrack. This guy will be nailing it to see whether this new combination he's put together is going to pay off.
Yeah, Victor Bray put together a lot of qualifying passes over the weekend, but also, of course, right through the weeks leading up to the Conacher Winter Nationals, took every opportunity to come out and run, and very slowly he's been getting on top of the combination.
Well, Victor Bray, a lot of great shots from inside, courtesy of Odyssey Batteries. Picture has been tending to break up a little bit with the tyre shake through the mid-range, but keep an eye on this. Can he run fast enough to put some pressure on Andrew Searle for the final? Can he get lane choice? Car looks a lot calmer this time. 663, 351 kilometres an hour. He is on the right track, I think. Still back pedal.
Number 1 qualifier John Force is looking to improve on his earlier 5:33 pass.
McCullough, and I watched Larson, and I watched Spurlock. And hey, McCullough, we ain't dead, not yet. But I tell you something. I watched them boys burn and get into the wall, and I kept trying to get her straight, and the flames were getting hot, and I said, that's enough of this shit, I'm disabandoning the ship. And I hate to jump from a car that's moving, but sorry, gang, I'm glad I was on a single, because I could have got somebody in trouble, but it got too hot to stay, and I ran out of air, and I'm glad we got a spare body. No burns here. The only thing hurt was when I hit the ground moving. Bluger was running my car. We ended up back. We kicked the rods out on every run. We ended up back in the hotel. And it was so cold out that we put the motor in the living room and rebuilt it. And we slept around the engine. And the next day at the racetrack, when the race was over, the track promoter came over and said, he oiled our track 3 times. They're suing us for the hotel rooms they ruined. And then after he left the starting line, and we said, God, he got to the other end with the chutes out and he didn't ruin the track again. What else could go wrong? Well, my wife, Lori, took the crew cab and ran over their Christmas tree on his starting line. Totally wiped the guy out. He said, I've never been back for Australia. But the real funny story was the picture that they used, because they didn't know anybody down at that time. Right. They were 15 years behind us, and they wanted American stars. But to sell the promoter, Don Harding, down under in Sydney, Australia, he took a photograph. In fact, we came to you. You were running Orange County Raceway at the time. You wouldn't let me run 64 funny cars, but you allowed me to start my car and push it out on the start line next to Mickey Thompson.
That was your press picture for Australia?
That was it. I went to Australia. It was on every billboard, every sign, every pub, and I was an instant hero because they saw Mickey Thompson, didn't know who John Force was, but if he raced Mickey Thompson, he had to be great.
And you did pretty good. You really did.
Pure insanity, pure luck. We actually, the very first day, they wanted somebody to do the media day, and they went in front of the press, and I thought, press, somebody wants to see me in a race car, and I was scared to death. I got in it because I'd never done a burnout with the car. Gary Densham was there and actually said, let Forrest go ahead and spend his money. We did a burnout, kicked the rods out, and that was on Thursday afternoon, set it on fire just for a filming. And these Aussies thought, this guy is really okay here. And we came back, put a motor in the next night. First run, couldn't get it in reverse. Second run, ended up on the grass. I didn't have guardrails. And I was running over spectators and picnic lunches. And the third run, and I don't even know, and you can ask Gary Densham, God's true. It went right down the avenue, throttle stuck, went out the back door, went out in a field, caught on fire. That's when it all started. And I remember a cow looking in the window at me. He just walked up and looked in the window because they opened the gates to the cow field. But it was over. Career was over. We were out of motors. We were broke. Went to the whole room, and next week, a big old guy showed up named Stomper with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I said I had to have some American food. And he walked in and he said, newspaper, you're the new star, the first guy to ever run over 200 in Australia. And I was a national record holder, and that's what kept me alive.
An engine, the car is still burning. He's trying to skid off some speed as they go past our camera.
Holy shit, man.
John.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Hell, what a shit. I'm worried about
John Forrest crawls out of a blazing inferno to celebrate winning the big shootout
cars they got in the world.
with John Gardella, one of the people that have been behind this team. Force.
Keep it off the fence.
You might have just spent 50 to win 50.
Was that good or what? Yeah. That's okay. I only bumped the guardrail once. That's okay. You're okay, man. I used the fire bottles. Good driving. All right. You got him this time. And I had my foot out her when she blew. Tell him to do the same thing.
John, you've been living with this threat of fire every run for 2 races.
Exciting, ain't it?
Only say one thing. I give great thanks to the good Lord that John Force is here, is well, is happy, and is prepared to receive the honors, accolades, and cash awards that go with being a Winston champion. John, it's your turn.
Thank you.
Fastest HQ Holden in the world. Not hype, very much a fact. And the man to do battle against the HQ Holden of John Zapier is, of course, that driver on screen, Bert Williamson. Magnificently turned out car, Ford EA, powered by a 540 cubic inch Keith Black engine. A real performer, and this one will go right down to the wire. Just watch the HQ Holden blister the quarter mile here at Eastern Creek. Nice to see the Wild Bunch cars back here tonight. Heads-up start conditions, simply meaning, if you haven't seen drag racing before, both of these rocket ships will leave the launching pad simultaneously on the green light.
Here we go, my favourite cars, the Wild Bunch. They're great. John Zapier from West Australia. Doesn't this thing line up? Wow, it got him going. Plenty of huff and puff in this thing. Bert Williamson, ready to take him on. He looked good too when he come out. Both snorting, both raring to go. And we're about to see it happen. Here we go. Zapier wins the books. Gat goes after him. Zapier gets sideways. Almost a touch. Zapier. Oh, what about that? He went this way, that way. Unbelievable run from Zapier. And look where Gat finished. Right up his tailpipe. Oh boy, the Wild Bunch. They're out to play.
That was one of the most remarkable drag races I have ever seen. Bert Williamson on the left-hand side of your screen, very twitchy out of the starting block. Zapier now skating all over the racetrack, and you can't get much closer together than that. They were separated by absolutely nothing. If I hadn't have been here, I wouldn't have believed it.
Yes, it certainly was. I mean, that's one of the races that you can put down in history. How these guys never touch, I never know. I mean, it is literally millimetres between them.
Kevin Prendergast is just walking into the commentary box. We look forward to your company very much in the next 30 minutes for another drag racing extravaganza, but hasn't had the best of luck at Eastern Creek. Constantinu now taking on Devlin, and you're going to see a sight here with Constantinu that should certainly open your eyes any tick of the clock. Plenty of glamour here at Eastern Creek, and you would swear blind the cameraman heard me, because there's a very graphic shot of the glamour to which I was referring, and that's all coming up very shortly, and the crowd are going absolutely berserk here. We'll see whether our cameraman can get in any closer. And Kevin, what comments would you like to make about this car?
Well, it's very pleasing to see a little bit of entertainment. Very, very popular with the crowd. The lady out the front is a very important part of drag racing. She guides the crewmen behind to make sure that the car goes back across the burnout marks as closely as possible. But of course, it's very, very pleasing to see that some of the crews are ensuring that there's a touch of entertainment that goes part with this very, very vital part of drag racing.
Constantinu, very well said. It's very good to see the crew doing what they're doing, and of course the crowd enjoying it. Constantinu should win this one. He's very quick on the left-hand side of your screen. Hope you're enjoying the racing from Sydney's Eastern Creek Raceway. Green light there. As predicted, it was a very good start by the man on the left-hand side of the screen. Got a little bit out of shape there. The front end started skating all across the track. Have a look at the other man absolutely flying when it was all over. That was Devlin, but Constantinu emerges victorious. 8.629 second pass, one start there. Superstock final now. It will be a ripper. Lucky Valeri against Brian Edwards. Now there's an interesting twist with this car, because it's normally driven by a very colourful character who is normally assisted by a very attractive lady.
Yes, Andrew Constantinu, the owner of the vehicle, unable to get here. Brian Edwards normally turns the wrenches on the race car, but because Constantinu is not available, Brian's in the chair and in the final. So it'll be a big one. Both of these cars are very crowd-pleasing, both running double B gas, so it'll be a heads-up start, supercharged, fuel-injected, alcohol-burning sedans. Really very, very popular cars.
I couldn't have summed it up better myself. Pardon me, apologies for the throat there. Lucky Baleri. That's him right there, magnificently turned out car. Lucky's Toy, rather aptly sign written on the side. And it's Edwards that he's going to be doing battle against. Edwards would be fairly dirty on the fact that he hasn't attained the services of the usual person that assists that car getting down into the start line area. Edwards right-hand side against Lucky Baleri. Baleri will be keen to go on with this one. He got the front wheels off the ground. In fact, Baleri very much out of shape there. That's enabled Edwards to really blast away. He's going to do it and do it very well. Edwards, as he goes across the strike, 8.483 second pass. Very good at 100. A big burnout from the Californian, Glenn Micros, who in the United States is one of the most respected funny car drivers in the business. Jim Reed, 13 times national champion, lights up the back tyres on the Winfield Racing Valvoline dragster. A great confrontation here between two of the world's best pairing we've become accustomed to seeing in drag racing at the highest level. Glenn Micros, one of the top gun American racers, up against the most respected drag racer in Australian history, Jim Reed. Well done.
Look at Reed, he had his mechanical problems first time round, the flames belching out as the sun has gone down now and the night lights have taken over here at Eastern Creek. You really see these things like they are. They're big hairy beasts, they're powerful, they spit out flame and they go really, really quick. So Reed, mechanical problems with Micros first time round. Beautiful evening here, big crowd in attendance. And this will be the matchup, or one of them they've waited for. Reed just couldn't get it together first time round and the Californian just stripped him. Get ready for it this time. Here we go. Reed a lot quicker this time though. Reed the Australian. Oh, he's done it again. A big blow up from Reed. Oh, it just lit up. There was a fireball. An absolute fireball. There's the crew. The crowd. Have a look at this. It's still on fire for Reed. Coming down, and that is a lot of money and a very scary moment for Jim Reed. He's been through it before, but you'd never get used to that.
He wants out of the race car, an unexpected on-board barbecue there for Jim Reed. He got the business done, a total engine detonation right on the line.
Reed is out. Look at the crowd though. The crowd just watched that. He says, I'm okay. He wants to get the fire out. He's calling to the marshals. Gets it.
Remarkable incident at Eastern Creek Raceway. Reed got the whole shot. Brilliant reaction time right at the top of the quarter mile. Bang, up she goes. It looked like Darling Harbour on New Year's Eve. The fireworks were flying. Jim Reed has escaped one of the worst incidents you'd ever hope to see or wouldn't want to see in top fuel racing.
Well, you can talk about all of the expense about this, but what about the danger? What about the guts of these guys to sit on such a volatile piece of equipment? Look at that flame. The crowd just didn't know what had happened, and Reed showed so much courage to get there to the end. Jim Reed really on fire tonight in more ways than one. Milton 80 at the end of the strip talking to the man himself.
Jim, you're always happy when you win, but I guess that's the way racing is. If anybody pulls up with a dragster on fire, dripping oil, looking
something
for
else.
the fire, and it
something else though. Every time I race Glenn Micros, something goes wrong.
But you beat him.
Well, there you go. Let me tell you, she was trucking. That sucker was trucking. It threw all.
And a fabulous meeting it is. Ben Gatt and Brian Edwards set here to do battle in qualifying for Super Modified. Now obviously, Kevin, Brian Edwards is the new driver of this car, formerly driven by Constantinou.
Yes, Brian Edwards was always the engine man, and Eastern Creek Performance, the sponsor of the car, is in fact his own workshop, but Brian's now taken over the whole operation and will campaign the car himself. This is a double B gas car, normally runs in super stock eliminator, powered by a Rodec or aluminium Chev engine with a mechanical supercharger on it. Again, Ben Gatt is the same type of car. Both of these cars running in the double B gas category. Any of the classes that have a double letter before them, in this case it's double D with a /G. The double B means that the car is supercharged. In this case, it's a mechanical supercharger, and the G stands for the gas, which is a class. These cars today running in Super Mod, which is a heads-up 7.9 index racing. They both get an even start, and the name of the game is to race as close as you can to that 7.9 time, and at the same time beat your opponent to the other end.
And Ford fans love Ben Gatt. That's him on the right-hand side of your screen. Set to debut a brand new car later in the month of May. Away he goes. Oh, plenty of smoke there from Ben Gatt coming from beneath the big Ford. He unleashes the parachute, still gets down the racetrack though in fairly respectable time. A 7.99, Brian Edwards at 8.39.
Yes, the 7.99 qualifies him fairly well. At this point he'd be in number one qualifying position, remembering of course that the 7...
The Wild Bunch boys are back in town. On today's show, we take you drag racing to Sydney's Eastern Creek Raceway for State of Origin number 2. New South Wales and Queensland do battle in 1,500 horsepower supercharged sedan action. The Queenslanders defeated New South Wales by 8 points to 4, but the Blues have vowed to fight back. Settle back, buckle up as the Cockroaches and Cane Toads battle for bitumen supremacy. Easy to find a winner here as Jeff Hislop lines up against John Payne, Kevin.
No, John Payne from Queensland, one of the most experienced and longest serving Wild Bunch members. This Corvette was specially built for Wild Bunch racing. On the other hand, Jeff Hislop in the blue Monaro has very experience in super sedan racing, but brand new to the 1,500 horsepower that the Wild Bunch engine provides.
John Payne on the other side of the racetrack hails from Brisbane. Jeff Hislop from Emerton in Sydney, and this will be a great matchup. Handicap start conditions, Hislop got away very well. All John Payne breaking traction. That's the second time in a row the Queenslanders have had problems in that lane. Jeff Hislop blasts through.
An easy...
Bring out the old Japanese tourist.
What are we going to do?
We're going to go and blow some weeds into the ground.
Out.
You smile.
Smile.
Oh, God. Yeah, give me wallet.
You count to 16, Roscoe?
Oh, is that mate?
You okay?
Yeah. Why? Can
Mainly...
Are you crying?
No,
Is that right?
really fat.
That? You drank the last beer.
Last off day at Eastern Creek Raceway, the Coca-Cola Classic will explode with 12 hours of supercharged drag racing action. See nitro-burning funny cars when Aussie champ Peter Russo takes on the Athelwood Brothers Camaro. Plus, Australia's best Wild Bunch sedans, including Victor Bray's Castrol Chevy, and for the first time, John Zapier in the world's fastest HQ Holden. It's a full program of serious mayhem. 10 till 10, Boxing Day at Eastern Creek Raceway.
welcome to Sydney's Eastern Creek Raceway for part 2 of the Winfield Triple Crown Challenge. All the action coming away this afternoon is from the drag strip. That quarter mile bit of bitumen that really sees the big cars burn it up. Milton Addy, this is the form of racing gets you turned on and turns on the rest of Australia.
Yes, Darryl, the sun's going down, the heavy hitters are coming out. We've got some fantastic action from the supercharged Wild Bunch sedans. We've got the methanol-burning alcohol dragsters and funny cars, and we've got nitro-methane-burning top fuel dragsters running in excess of 250 miles per hour. It's all going to happen at Eastern Creek Raceway tonight.
If you like your tyres burning, if you like your fuel smoking, it's all going to happen here. Stay with us, here's the action.
Bray in the Castrol 57 Chevy, one of the most famous drag racing sedans of all time and a crowd favourite, and your old mate Darryl, Andrew Constantinou in the blue Holden.
Constantinou, I'll get it right this time, Andrew, don't worry about that. Andrew Constantinou.
And he's brought his friends along again.
Ah, yeah, that's the butcher, Andrew Constantinou from New South Wales, taking on Victor Bray, the legendary black car beside him. This will be a ripper 1-2. Watch Bray if it does the business, because it just leaps off the line. Let me tell you, this is the new version of what we saw last year, and that was sensational.
Yes, for a tomato farmer, he's pretty quick.
Set for a start. Here we go. Oh, beautiful. The butcher out of the box. Quick, and he then fall back. Look at Bray. The butcher gets sideways as Bray comes storming home. Oh, big run for Bray. Oh, late start, but didn't he come home?
Good reaction time for Victor, a .46, runs a 7.94 at 177 miles an hour. And the butcher, he hasn't weighed in too well today, a 9.58 at 147.
177 mile an hour. Can you believe it? Replay. Let's see what went wrong. Milt.
Well, of course, it's a handicap eliminator. The Victor getting the better start, a .46 and a .5 for Andy. But Andy just tap dancing around on the gear change there and getting a bit crossed up. Victor with the pedal on the middle all the way to the back door.
Oh, it's solid, is it? When it comes home, just dead straight and fast.
I don't know how it'll go with all the RF in there. Yeah,
but Fire will be behind Glenn. He's trying to get her off the racing surface as much as possible.
All I really need good love. Now give me that good, good love. Good love. All I need is love. Good love. Good loving, baby. Good love. Now, honey, please squeeze me tight. Squeeze me tight. Don't you want you, baby?